One of, if not the most famous legend and yokai from Japan, Kappa. If you ask anyone who even has the least knowledge and interest in Japanese mythology, they will probably recognize the name and the weird humanoid turtle man that the name refers to. Whether it is because of its very marketable appearance or the many YouTube videos covering this yokai, such as the one you are watching right now, it is one of the most documented yokai for sure. But Kappa is not just a slimy, smelly turtle man. There are more to them than meets the eye. So, in this video, we are going to dive deeper. So join me. Together, we will be diving into the murky depths of the lore of Kappa. The appearance and design of Kappa is what the kids would like to call it peak. Whoever designed this creature did a great job encapsulating its sliminess and cheekiness. Kappa is usually depicted green in color, however there are variations such as the red variant and yellow variant as well, although they are a bit of a rare find. Its design is very unique and interesting to look at. By just looking at it, you can guess where it lives and how bad it smells. So let's look at the face first. It has a human-like face structure, except it has a beak for a mouth. However, much like turtles or tortoises, or animals in general, there are different variations to this as well. Toriyama Sekien depicts Kappa in his illustrated Demon Horde's Night Parade a little bit different, with tubular nostrils akin to soft-shell turtles, and also lacking a shell. Others portray them as having more of a canine or primate-like face, or sometimes just a straight-up human-like face. Its head also has an eye-catching feature. On its head, in the middle of the messy hair, is an indentation, almost like a petri dish. They would fill this indentation with water before going to land, as this will make them strong and invulnerable. However, if the water is spilled or dried up, they will get weak and die if they don't return to their aquatic homes fast enough. Their skins are sometimes depicted as slimy, almost amphibian-like, maybe akin to frogs with warts and bumps all over its body, but sometimes a bit more reptile-like, with scales and such. One interesting fact is that their skin is elastic and removable. It has webbed hands and feet, studded with sharp claws. These webbed hands are for better movement under the water. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that it is humanoid in stature, a humanoid turtle to be exact, as tall and as big as an average child, hence the name River Child. Although, do not be mistaken, as they are far stronger than any adult. One more prominent feature is its shell that covers pretty much their whole backside of their body. Again, sometimes they don't have shells, like this painting right here. One other secret feature that this Kappa has is that they have 3 anuses. This means they can pass 3 times as much gas as humans. With such an aquatic appearance, you might guess that its habitat is lakes, ponds and rivers. And well, your guess is correct. They are prevalent in wet and aquatic areas throughout Japan. Their habitat, however, do not just limit to natural watery areas, but sometimes they would invade man-made pools and irrigation channels, which became a nuisance for people. Why a nuisance? Well, not just because they invade people's ponds, but their very screwed up habits are what people were scared of. You see, nowadays, Kappa is this cute, lovable creature, showing itself on advertisements, becoming a marketable plushie, and making appearances in anime and video games. But behind those cute little faces lies a dark, disturbing past. You see, Kappa were responsible for some very heinous acts back in the day. But first of all, they stink really bad, enough to make you faint. So that is a solid enough reason to not want a Kappa chilling in your backyard pool. But On a serious note, Kappa is said to be barbaric in nature and prefers fighting instead of talking it out. They are known for challenging people to sumo wrestling, which can be very intimidating. Plus, no one wants a neighbor that fights and causes a ruckus all the time. Not only that, you can even decline the challenge because it was not an option to begin with. Plus, with how strong a Kappa is, winning a sumo wrestle with a Kappa is a very slim outcome. Next, they have a short temper, so one small misstep can land you on the side that you don't want to see yourself in when encountering a Kappa. They are notorious for ambushing and drowning people who unknowingly swim in Kappa-infested waters. They will grab the swimmer's feet and drag them into the water. Usually children were the victims of this ambush, and because of this, parents would forbid their child to play near and in ponds and rivers that are said to house a Kappa. The most frightening aspect of Kappa is their craving for the elusive Shirikodama. Shirikodama is a magical ball that resides in the human anus and is said to actually house the soul of a human. Think of it like a pearl, I guess, but it stores your soul and vitality in it. So to satisfy this craving, they would attack humans, and in a brutal fashion they would fist a person's anus with its slimy hands and yank out the ball from the person's butthole. Such a painful and horrifying way to die. It is unsure what they will do to these balls though. Some speculate that they will eat the ball, however, others claim that they use these balls as tributes to the Dragon King that is said to live under the sea. They are sometimes depicted as mischievous pranksters, loudly passing gas in public areas where people are hanging around. Let me remind you that they have 3 anuses, so this means 3 times the gas and 3 times the stink, I guess. And also they like to pick up women's kimonos. Their mischievous nature can turn to violence real quick. They are also known to kidnap kids, rape women, and eating humans. Their victims are not just humans, but animals as well, particularly horses. They like to pull horses to the river and drown them for some reason. One theory suggests that this act reflects old ancient Japanese practices of sacrificing a horse to the river gods. Kappas are not all bad, despite what we had discussed up to this point. One of the reasons it is famous and so captivating in the first place is because of its wide spectrum of behaviour. They are not just single-sided characters with only being evil. The friendly ones are known to make contact and form relationships with different yokais and even humans. They are very intelligent and are one of the very few yokai that can converse and talk in human language. In this case, they are very proficient in Japanese. With language comes civilization, so Kappa are portrayed as civilized beings. They were portrayed as living in their own built society, based on Ryunosuke Akutagawa's 1927 book Kappa, where in the book the Kappa society was portrayed as based on radical capitalism, where poor Kappas are slaughtered for food for the wealthy class. They possess mystical and higher knowledge on medicine and bone setting. They would sometimes teach this knowledge to humans. However, most of the time they would teach humans when they are bargaining with humans and or desperate for the humans' forgiveness, as can be seen in this story, which goes like this. A woman was going to the toilet one night. When she sat on it, a webbed hand reached out from inside the toilet and touched her. Feeling angry and harassed, the next night she returned to the toilet, armed with a knife. She then waits. When the hand reaches up as it had before, she quickly slices it clean off of whoever the hand was from. She carried the hand and showed it to her husband. The following evening, a one-armed Kappa appeared at their door, begging for the couple to return its arm. The couple refused, understandably. However, the Kappa keeps coming back night after night. until one day the Kappa made a bargain. He promised to never do any more mischief and also share knowledge of crafting mystical medicine that is capable of healing injuries and mending bones in exchange of its arm. Well, you might think, why will anyone believe what they say after all the things they have done? But actually, Kappa is known for being an honorable creature. They never break promises. Sure, they are proud and can be stubborn, but most portrayals show them as being honorable and having manners. Polite even. In their pastime, they like to sumo wrestle with each other and sometimes humans. It is said that they are very good at shogi, which is a Japanese chess game. Their diet consists of everything that lives, including humans, but they are particularly fond of cucumbers, especially when the cucumber grows little yellow flowers. Today, a cucumber roll in Japanese is called kappa maki. Parents would carve names of their kids and their age onto a cucumber, then throw it into the river or lake where a kappa resides. This cucumber is an offering to the kappa, and in return, the kappa will not cause any mischief and will protect the child whenever the child decides to swim in the river. As mentioned earlier, they would form bonds with humans. The Kappabashi or the Kappa Bridge area in Tokyo is associated with the Kappa legend. According to the legend, the very first Kappa Bridge was built by Kappa laborers employed by a merchant. Nowadays, the site of the supposed Kappa Bridge has become a Buddhist temple named Sogenji, also known by its nickname Kappa Dera, meaning Kappa Temple. Speaking about temples and shrines, there are countless Kappa shrines dedicated to appease the Kappa, with putting cucumbers at riverbanks as offerings, and in return the Kappa will help people by irrigating fields, helping children, and overall maintaining a good relationship with them. So, let's say while you are walking back home after a tiring day of work, and you accidentally encounter a Kappa on a bad day. It decided that you won't be getting away unscathed or alive. It challenges you to a fight. If you win, you can live freely, but if I win, I'm going to eat you whole, the Kappa says. Fighting a Kappa one-on-one is a tough challenge in itself, but winning is a much tougher challenge, especially when you are built like a stick. So what can you do? Running away right now can be fatal as it can catch up to you really easily. So what you can do is to exploit on its politeness. You can agree to the wrestle, not that you have any other option to begin with. Then, before you start, give the Kappa a bow as a gesture of politeness. Feeling obligated to return the bow, the Kappa will bow back, spilling the water from inside its indentation on its head. As mentioned before, when walking on land, it is very important for a Kappa to fill their indentation with water to keep them strong and invulnerable. However, when the water is spilled or dried up, it will become weak and vulnerable to the point of death. So, when bowing to you, the Kappa will accidentally spill the water, leaving it weak and vulnerable. So, this is the time for you to run away or beat the crap out of it. I guess. It's your choice. Second option is that if you happen to have a cucumber, you can throw the cucumber at it. It will become so fixated with the cucumber that it will give you ample time to run away. Thirdly is a bit avant-garde, I would say, but one other way you can repel a Kappa is to rip out a massive fart at it. The fourth way is that they are deathly scared of ginger, sesame, and iron. So I would like to advise you to bring with you a ginger or a bag full of sesame seeds, or if you want, bring with you an iron pole if you happen to venture across a Kappa territory. Plus, holding an iron pole looks cooler and you can use it like a weapon. But in the grand scheme of things, let's say that if you decide to wrestle a Kappa and win, the Kappa will swear loyalty to you and will become your best buddy for the rest of their lives. The legend of Kappa has different origins based on ideas proposed by different people who studied the myth of Kappa. One main theory of origin where everyone agrees is that Kappa originated from aquatic deities, such as the river deity Kawa no Kami. Yanagita Kunio, a well-known mythologist, proposes that Kappas are fallen deities once worshipped. The oldest known reference to Kappa can be found in the dictionary called Kagakushu, written in 1444. In this, Kappa refers to Kawaro, and in this book, it says that aged otters transform into Kawaro. Kappa weren't always amphibious looking, as early paintings show them with a more primate-like feature, such as in Wakan Sansai Zue, written in 1712, where it shows more like a monkey. This probably shows a Hindu influence as well, as the Sanskrit word for monkey is kapi. But over time, with the growing urban area of Japan, with fewer monkeys seen and more paddy fields and waterways, the Kappa slowly transformed from ape-like to a more reptile amphibian-like creature. Back then, Kappa were considered a real creature, as it made an appearance in a naturalist and food guide called Honcho Shokan, written in 1697, and a full reference piece called The Illustrated Guide to 12 Types of Kappa, showcasing the different variations of Kappa and their physiology. Do you know that the Kappa that you see here is actually one of the two different forms that they can take? Apparently, this is the summer form that they take. However, when winter comes, they move up to the mountains and morph into a different looking creature named Yamawaro, meaning mountain child. They look more human-like now, still as tall as an average child. Their body has fur patches and their heads are crowned with brown hair, with the middle spot being bald, reflecting their Kappa origins. They now have one eye and they walk upright like a human. But in terms of their behavior, they are still the same. They are intelligent and can converse with humans. They are known to help woodcutters, if only the woodcutters agree to provide them with food as reward. However, extreme care must be taken when giving them food, as in the amount of food given. If the Yamawaro finds out that the amount of food is less than what was promised, they will get angry and never return. However, if you give food before the work commences, they will be gone before the work starts. Meanwhile, we have the Kappa Musume, a Kappa that disguises herself as a girl. But they are not known to be aggressive or evil at all. They will disguise themselves as normal-looking human girls, appear in villages and ask people for food. If you give them food, then they will come again and again every day, until you trick them to not come again. Next, we have Suiko, which translates as water tiger. They have more of a feline-like appearance, but still, overall having the same build and stature of that of a Kappa, minus the shell on its back. They are said to be more aggressive and wild than Kappas. Not only that, in the Kappa hierarchical system, they sit higher than Kappas and are often considered as Kappas' superiors. It is also said that they come from China and moved into Japan a long time ago. Lastly is the Garappa, the lanky and shy cousins of Kappa. They are much taller than Kappa, with limbs being longer, and when they sit, their knees rise high above their heads. They pretty much have the exact same behavior as Kappa as well, although they are shy and reclusive. Unlike Kappa, they prefer to live in solitary and far from people. Therefore, it is harder to encounter a Garappa as they are a rare breed. Today, Kappa has fallen to the worst fate of all, becoming marketable plushies. Kappa experiences a resurgence of sorts today, evolving from horrifying slimy, yet intelligent monster to a cute and lovable little turtle duck man. They have become a mascot for sushi shops, appear in video games such as Animal Crossing, movies, and also anime such as Inuyasha. Kappa's influence and popularity in Japan and also all over the world are no doubt huge. So, whenever you see a cute and wholesome kappa toy or a plushie, or those cute chibi cartoons of them, just remember that behind those adorable beady eyes lies their primordial craving, the crave to feast your anus. Subscribe if you want to watch more videos like this, like if you enjoyed this one, and thank you so much for watching.